Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. We've picked up a 2009 Kawasaki Ninja 650R. I got this thing at the auto auction. I've been watching them for quite a few months now, waiting for a good opportunity to show up. And the other week, this thing popped up, and I couldn't resist. I had to put an offer in on it. To give you a look at it, it's not in too bad of shape. Both side fairings are kind of eaten up here. This was a theft recovery. The ignition has been busted and hot wired. I'll give you guys a close-up of that when we get to that point. The gas cap was also busted. That thing got knocked out. The day I won the auction on this thing, I went ahead and ordered a new ignition set for it. Picked that up. It was a little over $100. And surprisingly, when I picked the bike up today, I no more than got home and got it off the trailer. I was on my way in the house, and there was a package sitting at the garage door, and I'm like, oh hell, what is this? The ignition came, and it is the triple clamp, the ignition. It also came with the gas cap that goes with the same key, and also a seat latch, since the seat latch on this was also busted. I'm a little excited. I just got the thing today. I wasn't expecting this to be in for a few more days, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get the ignition pulled out. I doubt I'll go ahead and take the triple clamps off, but I'm at least going to remove the tank and everything so I can get to the harness plug. It's actually up under the tank here. So we might as well go ahead and do our first video and get the tank and all this plastic off of here, and see what else we find damaged along the way. Now, I've already pulled the seat and gotten the battery out because I didn't know how electrically sound this thing was, and didn't want to take a chance with it sitting in here over time and decharging, or, you know, no clue with a bike that's been hot wired. So anyway, let's get into this thing and get the tank off. Alright, let's see. First off, we need to get the seat off. I latched it back. They had busted the lock off, so whoever had hot wired it could get to the battery to charge it. Because the way they hot wired this thing is definitely going to drain the battery time and again. There we go. Seat's off. The initial cost of me winning the bid, the price I paid for the bike, was $875. But anyway, is listed as inoperable. So when I got it home, I took this thing off. I was going to pull the battery. What made this all worthwhile was this badass Finding Dory kite. That's a win, guys. It's not even open. That's brand new. That's a win. So anyway, $875. No clue what the miles are. The tank's in good shape. The bike's in relatively good shape. I'm surprised. Fairings are, you know, banged up. That's normal. I can replace those, no problem. It's most likely going to be the most expensive thing to fix in this bike. Like I say, I got the entire triple clamps with the ignition, new gas cap, and seat latch was $120 or so. And that's Kawasaki genuine parts. Got on eBay. Somebody had a little package put together, and it was almost meant to be, really. So anyway, looks like we need two 10 millimeters. The tank on this bike is very similar to how this one comes off, except there's actually a lot less plastic that you have to remove. I don't have anything up here. I'll need to pull this off. That should just pop off, similar to the Z650. 2 bolts back here, none on the front. This is more of a hinged action. And then we should have a vent hose underneath, fuel pump power, and then the float level harness. Fuel line, vent line, and the 2 electrical connectors. And that should be it. So very similar to this bike, but let's do it. That was easy. Yeah, the frame is straight on this bike. It looks, other than the plastics being beat up the way they are, it looks good. Now the battery, I checked it with my voltmeter, and that thing was dead. Absolutely dead. So I'd say my chances of being able to get this thing fired up tonight is very slim. I'll put it on charge and check it in the morning, and if it works, I'll hook a gas line up, lay the tank on it, and try to turn it over and report back. Okay. So we've got these 2 bolts out. There's 2 harness connectors. There's the vent line here. Go ahead and pull this up through. And there's the fuel line, connects on the opposite side than the Z. Oh, I'm probably going to have to get something to wiggle these apart. They don't look like they've ever been taken apart. Old electrical connectors. Hey, that one wasn't too bad. And this one. This is usually the one that'll give you a hard time. Or not. Okay. Yeah, a lot of times the little rubber gasket on these will get dry, and the connector really doesn't want to give. The plastic around the releases get hard. So that leaves just the fuel line. And on the fuel line, there's a little red connector. You just pull it back. Sometimes you can get them by hand. Sometimes you need a screwdriver. This one came by hand. Most likely going to spill a little bit of fuel when we do this. And that's loose. Tank should come right off now. And that's it. So we had 2 bolts here, 2 electrical connectors. We had the fuel line, and then the vent hose we had to get out from under there. This bike is dirty. Doesn't look like it's seen an air filter in a very long time, if at all. And the ignition, and what it looks like they did was took a hammer or something and just busted the ignition and zip tied it. So this connects here. Yeah, I'm going to need some assistance on that one. And I have terminal screwdriver. And that's that. And we need the 10mm again to get the wiring harness connector loose. And I went through earlier and checked all the fuses on this bike. And there's the ignition, the old one. But I found one blown fuse, and that was on the starter relay. And they had put a 75 amp fuse on this thing, and then apparently blown it, probably hooked jumper cables up backwards. That's generally what will happen. I don't see any damage. It's dirty. I mean, looks like the bike was probably parked outside mostly. And I have seen evidence of like wax in places, so whoever owned it, the original owner, not the people that stole it, I mean, he did take care of it, or she. The rear tire's shot. It's got a little gash in it. Won't hold air. Makes it pretty hard to roll, especially up a ramp into this building. That was interesting. So yeah, it needs new tires. Now let's grab our new ignition here and make sure we did get the right year model. And of course, brought a glass of whiskey with me, so we gotta take a sip of that. Okay, it looks the same. And basically what we'll do, yep, harnesses look the same. So I'm just going to test it. Yep, that's it. Cool. All right. Well, that is definitely the right ignition. I just hope the dash works. Now, what I'm probably going to do to this, of course, I'm going to strip everything I can out of it, go through the wiring, check sensors. Like I said earlier, I already checked fuses, which Let me see if I can get a focus on this bad boy here. Yeah, anyway, this is a 75 amp fuse. And they wrapped tinfoil around it after they blew it and then stuck it back in there. So I do not know what's going on with the electrical system. So let's go and do some preliminary checks just to see. What I'm going to do is check here where the fuse was blown actually on the starter relay between the positive and negative. Make sure nothing's touching where I remove the battery cables. Check my meter. Okay. And we'll check ground to terminal. Alright, positive to frame. Nothing. Positive to positive. Good. Now we're going to check positive to negative. Okay, that's good. That's just a real quick check to see if I have anything that is a dead short. Now, this is by no means a complete way to check your electrical system on a motorcycle. This is just going to tell me that as soon as I turn the ignition, if anything's going to blow. It doesn't look like it. That's not saying that a sensor can't backfeed somewhere. The ECU might be smoked. A lot of different factors, but we won't know till we really dig into it. But there's the ignition. I don't know which one's going to show it better here. That's crazy, man. They just hammered it out, rotated it, and zip tied it all together. So it looks like whoever did this had probably done it before. Maybe not. Maybe they just watched a YouTube video. Maybe they'll watch this YouTube video. Hey guys, you get to watch me fix the bike you stole. But anyway, so we're going to remove these 4 screws, pull air filters up, see what it looks like. Now, my plan for this, guys, is just so you guys, everyone that's interested in maybe doing something like this, you know, maybe you're nervous about owning a bike and doing maintenance, or you know, maybe you wanted to do something like this, pick up a bike for cheap. I mean, $875 for an 09 Ninja, as long as the miles are good, that's a steal. I could Street Fighter this thing, set of tires. Street Fighter's not going to cost me a damn thing other than a simple headlamp to replace the cowling and maybe a bracket. A decent one, $80 to $100. LED headlamp with the bracket. I could bend my own tabs to mount the gauge. Yeah, let's see. We'll say, you know, $200 to redo the front end, you know, if I wanted to be special with it. Strip off all the fairings. I'm missing one trim piece here, and I think I'm missing a lower. Of course, I'm missing the complete lower cowl. I know $500 will get you a painted set of fairings with everything you need, so. Oh no, good Lord. This thing's never had the air filters clean. This is typical on motorcycles. People will buy a bike and not take it in for service because dealerships they're expensive and they don't do all the basic maintenance like changing the air filters because they're nervous to take the tank off. You saw how would that take me, like 2 minutes, 3? Oh yeah, good Lord. This air filter probably has never been changed. And look at that, even the foam's deteriorated. This is probably the original filter that's been in the bike since it was purchased. Wow. That is crazy. Now I'm wondering about how the bike's maintenance was. I mean, the oil was good. It definitely had oil changed. Yeah, I think I'm going to de-snorkel. And I'll probably do a block off. Yeah, might as well. In case I ever want to get some dyno readings or do anything like that, might as well. I mean, we're 3/4 of the way there already. All right, so we're going to put on the list that we need an air filter. We'll go ahead and get 2 new plugs. I don't know about the igniters yet, the coil packs or the sticks. Won't know that till we actually get down into the down into them. If they're brittle, we'll get those too. Those will be a little pricey. But anyway, back to what I was saying earlier. If I wanted to do a Street Fighter on this, which I don't, I want it restored back with fairings and everything. If this new ignition fixes it, a headlight assembly to turn it into a Street Fighter with the little trims and the tabs and everything, about $200 for a decent one. New clutch levers, another $50. Handlebars, $60, $70. So you're looking at $300 there. $300 to $350 for a new set of tires. That's another $7. I got $875 into the bike for around $1,500 to $1,600. You'd have an 09 Ninja ready to roll. And the handlebar, you know, you don't have to replace that. You could just replace the one lever. You could go as cheap as you wanted. You know, new air filter, that's going to be $35, $40. New plugs are going to be, you know, $5 for both of them. They're like $250, $280 a piece. Yeah, but if the gauge works, so I'm expecting for me to replace fairings and everything I want just to get this back street legal running the way it needs to be. I'm going to put about $1,000 into this bike. So I'll have between $1,800 and $1,900. But you know me, I'll have to throw an exhaust on, and I may throw a fuel controller on, and I'm already talking integrated taillights. I've got a contact that someone got a hold of me from a company a few weeks ago wanting me to try out and review one of their products. So I'm probably going to do that and throw that on here. Pretty cool little system. Don't want to give it away just yet. I was going to try it on this bike, and then I ended up with this one, so we're going to do it here. I need a new battery. Probably want to drop some weight, just like the exhaust. I'll probably go with a speed cell battery. They're not much more than a regular. You just can't pull much of a load on it, so no effect lights or anything like that on this bike. Fuses, only the one was blown. That's just a 30 amp to replace. So pending we don't run into any more major items, yeah, I figure I can have this bike put back together complete for $2,000. Okay, so as of right now, the price I have in this bike is $875 and like $120 for the ignition setup that I got. So you're looking at $995. It's not too bad. So I'm under $1,000, and in the morning this thing might fire right up, and if I had a set of tires I could ride it. Just pull the fairings off and take off. So I guess tomorrow will be the day that we find out, and hopefully I will have put up an intro video before this one because no one even knows that I'm doing this project. Not even my wife. So if anybody has a spare bedroom or anything, let me know, because I might be sleeping on the couch or even worse on the street when she finds out I bought yet another motorcycle. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to call it a night, drink my whiskey, and go look up some parts and get back with y'all here in the next day or two. And we'll continue on. I'm going to bring my other bike stands too to the house. That way I can get this thing leveled up, get the rear wheel off the ground, see if I can put some patch, like some fix-a-flat or something. That way it'll at least roll a little bit easier. And by no means I would ever try to ride a bike with fix-a-flat in the tires, but it's pretty tough rolling this thing around with a flat rear. Alright, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Tell your friends. Drop me any suggestions on what we should do with this thing in the comments below. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking to a lot of you guys, especially any of you guys that already have the Ninjas. I might be asking for some help and pictures on what fairing am I missing, because there's a lot of small interfering pieces that I'm not familiar with on the Ninjas that I can tell or not hear. So, we'll catch you later. Ride safe.